Well, the world rejoiced yesterday when candy maker Mars Incorporated announced that it would be rebranding M&Ms to make them more inclusive and progressive for the year 2022 as part of their, quote, global commitment to creating a world where everyone feels they belong and society is inclusive. This is one of the final pieces necessary to usher in an age of harmony and tranquility. Now all we need is for the patriarchal, gender essentialist Mike and Ikes and the violent and triggering pop rocks to finally evolve as well. We are on the cusp of utopia. So close I can taste it. Tastes sweet and has 35 grams of sugar per serving. Nobody expected that civilization could be saved by junk food brands. But they've been at the front lines in the battle against bigotry for a long time, actually. It began 2 years ago when Gushers tweeted in support of BLM. They tweeted, Gushers wouldn't be Gushers without the black community and your voices. We're working with Fruit by the Foot on creating space to amplify that. We see you. We stand with you. Prior to this statement, most people had never thought about the intersectional relationship between fruit snacks and racial justice, but the dream team of Fruit by the Foot and Gushers changed all of that. Junk food brands have been leading the charge ever since, and brands in general have remained at the forefront in the struggle for tolerance and equality. We talked yesterday about Audi's ad promoting gender-sensitive language. Every day, another brand steps up. The brands are our guiding light. The brands will show us the way. The brands will save us. Or so we hope. But sadly, as I read more about M&M's alleged efforts to promote inclusion and diversity, I found myself unsatisfied. Come to think of it, we even need to ask some questions about Gushers. Whatever happened to the space that it was supposed to make to amplify black voices? That was 2 years ago. I have not heard any black voice amplified by a fruit snack in the 2 years since. I've seen black people buy fruit snacks. I've seen them eat fruit snacks. I haven't seen the fruit snack do anything for them, though. The fruit snack just sits there passively, waiting to be consumed. Its silence is deafening. Its silence is violence. What about M&Ms? Well, the VP of the company appeared on the website Cheddar News, where all important news is reported, to talk about the brand's mission and vision for the year ahead. Here she is explaining how M&Ms, she hopes, will spark a movement and change the world.
M&Ms is on a mission to create a world where everyone feels they belong. We're wanting to start a movement to remind everyone that despite our differences, we have an incredibly powerful thing in common as a community, which is the power of fun. It's actually a reaffirmation, a concrete commitment to what we've always believed as a brand, that the power of fun is the most important way that we can help people feel included and increase that sense of belonging. And as you mentioned, as a reflection of that, you're going to see our brand evolve in its look and feel to reflect a dynamic and progressive world that we're living in.
Sounds promising. There's nothing lofty about a brand of candy promising to fundamentally change and reshape society. In fact, historians agree that a great number of the major revolutions in human history have been sparked by different types of candies. The Reese's Revolution of 1645 is just one example. But let's listen to their actual plan. Because here's where things go off the rails a little bit, I think. How will M&Ms be more inclusive exactly? Listen.
So as an iconic brand that's been around for actually over 80 years, it's really important that we're evolving over time as well. And one of the most powerful ways we can do that is through our beloved characters. You'll see them as we've done a deep look at them both inside as well as out in terms of reflecting new looks, personalities, and backstories. For example, Green, you'll see her better reflect empowerment and confidence and be known for more than just her shoes. You're going to see Green and Brown together being a supporting force for women who are throwing shine and not shade. You'll also see Orange really embrace his true self, worries and all, and not be afraid to express it. We actually know Orange is the most relatable of our characters in the crew. It's based on some conversations we've had with Gen Z, which we know is the most anxious generation. And beyond our characters, you'll see things such as our increased color palette, as well as the different sizes and shapes of our lentils. And a personal favorite of mine, more of an emphasis on the ampersand. It's a distinctive element of the M&M's logo that connects the two M's together. And it's really a signal of our belief as a brand that we are better together.
Wow. Look, there's no question that women across the country will be uplifted and empowered by the green and brown M&M. Now, the support of these two anthropomorphized pieces of candy will be crucial to women. In fact, not but a week ago, I came into the living room and I found my wife collapsed on the couch in tears. I asked her what was wrong, and she told me that she didn't feel supported by the green M&M, and all I could do was hold her and weep with her. Now M&Ms have addressed this problem, and that is admirable and important. And there's likewise no doubt that we all will derive inspiration from the orange M&M as he embraces his true self. It's always been clear to me that the orange M&M was repressing his true identity, hiding his truth away in fear. And it brings me comfort to know that he'll finally be able to live authentically. But with all that said, M&Ms have still dropped the ball significantly. First of all, it is unconscionable that in the year 2022, there still is no overt LGBT representation in the M&M community. Perhaps the true self stuff is supposed to hint at the orange M&M sexuality, but mere hinting is not even close to good enough. We have to know in very precise terms about the orange M&M's sexual identity and gender expression. Is he gay? Is he bisexual? Is he a trans M&M? Is he a genderqueer, non-binary, transmasculine, two-spirit demisexual? The fact that he's still forced to keep this part of himself locked away only shows that M&M's as a company is not serious in its commitment to diversity and inclusion. Indeed, its erasure of LGBT identities is a direct assault on an already marginalized community, which has been waiting too long for candy brand representation. Further, while we can appreciate the fact that there is a brown M&M which serves to validate black and brown bodies, still there has not been any ad campaign, so far as I'm aware, dealing with systemic racism or police brutality. We have not seen an ad, for example, where the brown M&M is racially profiled during a traffic stop. Is that because the M&M's brand denies that the black community is subject to such persecution? Or do they just not care enough to acknowledge this reality in their ad campaigns? Which is it, M&Ms? This is all to say nothing of the fact that still, even now, in the year 2022, they haven't introduced a line of M&Ms where the M is written in Braille for the sake of the visually impaired. This continued oversight effectively makes it impossible for blind people to eat M&Ms, a problem that could be solved by litigation or legislation if Congress could get its act together, but which is, a truly inclusive company would address on its own. Of course, this is part of a long history of M&M ableism. For a long time, their motto was, if you remember, melts in your mouth, not in your hand, completely ignoring the fact that some Americans don't have hands. So it's clear that M&M's commitment to progress, equity, and inclusion is tentative at best, disingenuous at worst. This rebrand is an improvement. Doesn't go nearly far enough. All I can say to M&Ms is this: listen to marginalized communities. Hear what they're saying and do the work. Listen, hit that subscribe button right now. Do it right now. I thank you for your compliance. It is somewhat appreciated.